Hello my fellow garden gals and guys, welcome back to my channel, Serenity Now Garden. My name's Jeannie and I garden here in central Minnesota in a zone 4B. So today I'm going to show you a couple things. First I'm going to show you my clematis that I have planted. I have 3 different clematis vines and I believe right now in mid-June here we're just at peak clematis. So I want to show you that before they fizzle out, because in the next like 5 days we have about mid 90 degree temperatures and the blooms might not last long. So let me show you that first. Okay, garden friends, I'll show you my clematis vines I have here. There's one by this post on my front porch. I put it in using an invisible trellis. I'll show you that a little bit closer, but first let me just show you these delphiniums. They're just so pretty. They're just about to bloom. 5 feet tall, some of these. So as you could see, I did have to stake them up just in case because of the rain. And just behind that is a viticello type of clematis. The invisible trellis is fishing line, and I also spray painted some nails white just to blend in, and it's going up that post very nicely. It's even higher than that hanging basket, so very pretty there. Second year, so it's still small, but I think next year it's going to be amazing. I love these delphiniums around this bird bath here, so those should be blooming hopefully by next week, and I'll do a garden tour so you could see. Okay, so let's go to my arbor here that goes down to my side yard. I have 4 vines total on this arbor. I have 2 Jackmanii, which is the purple that you're seeing here. This is the 3rd season, so it's coming in quite nice. Next year, I think it'll go over the whole entire arbor, I'm hoping. The other pink vine that you're seeing is Villa de Leon. So these are both longer blooming. So that's why I got these. I just really like the mixture of the pink and the purple. So very happy with those. They bloom a good few weeks. It just kind of depends on the weather. And here is a view from the other angle coming up my side yard. So yeah, the Jackmanii is really just absolutely gorgeous. I think it's a little more vigorous, of course, than the other vine, but that's okay. It's just one of my favorite perennials, so glad I could share that with you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Now I'm going to show you a couple of perennials that I just planted. Now these are new perennials to me. I've never seen them for sale in my zone before. If you have any experience, or if you've planted these perennials, maybe they're not as rare in your zone, please comment below and let me know, because I'm just dying to know how they're going to do. I'm really excited. So I just have a handful of them here already planted. Let me take you around the garden and I'll show you here. Okay, I'm going to start up at my front bed this time. Now, a little history of this garden bed. It used to be all buckthorn, and it is extremely dry, and it gets the hot afternoon sun. I do try to amend the soil with some compost, but it still stays pretty dry. I try to water here or there. We have a lot of these Silvermount Artemisias, and I've slowly been taking a few out because they just haven't been doing really well up here. So this is the first plant I wanted to show you. This is called Echium Red Feathers. This is a good rock garden plant, and I've never seen it in the garden centers until this year around here. So as you can see, it's gorgeous. It's actually from a part of Turkey in the mountains in very arid conditions. So it's a really tough plant. And I just have it just in front of the Millennium Allium, and it's a long bloomer. So now it's not looking like much now, has a little bit of transplant shock, so you could just see kind of just at the top there some of those like feathery blooms, but I think it's going to look really good next year. I can't wait. It provides a little more color. And I'm always looking for unique plants, so let me know if you've ever planted that. Again, that's Echium red feathers. So I'm going to show you another plant that I have up here. This is a perennial statice. Now, I know a lot of you have planted statice and a lot are um, annuals, but this is actually a perennial in zone 4. So you could see it'll get really pretty with these plumes of purple flowers, like a lavender color. There's some stats there for you. So this is Siberian Statice, dazzle rocks. It's also called perennial limonium. So websites say it's zone 5 through 9, but the tag did say 4 through 9. So we'll see how this goes. I'll report back on it next year, but I think this is going to make just a really good spot for it since, like I said, this bed is so dry. I do have some alliums in this bed, obviously, that are fizzled out, but let me show you another plant here. This is a sun fern. It is in the Artemisia family, so it can take some poor soil, some drought conditions. It's right here. Isn't it gorgeous? It's not blooming or anything now. It's mostly grown for the foliage. But yes, this is in the Artemisia family, like I said, a sun fern. Zone 4 through 9, all the same stats, the deer resistance, the drought tolerance, low moisture, so I think it'll do very well up here. But check out the stems on this plant too. They really stand out, and I think it's a really good contrast in front of this golden spirit smoke bush. Once it kind of gets a little bit bushier, yeah, the stems are just so gorgeous. It's like a purpley color. So again, that is Artemisia sunfern. Okay, I'm going to go to my back garden bed here. Now, I just put in this cut flower and veggie garden, and I have a formal bed in front of it. Let me kind of take you in closer. So the first plant I'm going to be showing here is called a Prunella summer Daze. Has anyone ever planted this? This is the first time I've ever seen it in a garden center, and only one garden center had this. Now, this is what it looks like in full bloom. It had a little bit of transplant shock, so it'll look a lot better next year. But look at the stats on that. It's all really good, drought tolerance, pollinator magnet, zone 4 through 9, and long blooming, which I'm always looking for long bloomers. So I think that'll look really good next year, especially just in front of this spirea and in front of the penstemon here. So very unique, I'd say, and the foliage is very pretty as well. So yeah, let me know if you've ever planted that Prunella summer Daze. And just next to that, I have another Artemisia. Now, this may not be as rare, but it's the first time I've seen it in my area. I actually did get this at Home Depot. So this is Artemisia Brocade. And as you can see, it really just stands out from a mile away. So this is my very backyard. Now, when I'm in my house looking back at this back bed, I could see these plants so well. Look at the stats on that. It's also called a ghost plant. Stays low growing, so it's great in the front of the border, full sun, deer resistance, all that great stuff. So yeah, let me know if you have that. I've seen a lot more Artemisias that are perennial in the garden centers lately. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more back here too. We'll see. Artemisia brocade or brocade. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Now I'm going to show you a couple more common perennials that I just planted. Some are natives to the area. As you know, I just live adjacent to the wetlands here. And I tried to plant something that can just take off in the back there. So let me show you a few of those that I planted and a few more common perennials here. Okay, now this is just going to be near my cut flower and veggie garden. Now the cut flower and veggie garden just has dead leaves as a weed barrier, so it's not as formal as what's around it. But what I wanted for this area, which is all new, is to put like a border in between my lot and our neighbor's lot, which is just on the back of this bed. I didn't want the bed to just end into all these weeds because a lot of it's stinging nettle. So what I did was I planted 11 of these Joe Pye weeds. This one's called Gateway. So these will get really tall, like 6 feet tall, possibly even more. Here's some stats on it. It's a great native in the area, and it'll love it back here because it can flood in the spring because we're just on the wetlands here in the back. So I really do want this to take over. So I think it'll be a great border plant. Here's another one I put in too. Very pretty. This is Sebario cerbifolia stem, which is a mouthful, but I'll put the stats on there for you. Now, this was a clearance plant, so it doesn't look great now, but check out this picture. I mean, it blooms in the spring with these white blooms, and the foliage can get a little like crimsony color. It's just gorgeous. Now, these can spread through runners. So what I'm going to do is if any runners come this way, into my garden, I'll probably cut those and let it just take off on the other side. Here's another one too. Queen of the Prairie. This is Filipendula rubra. And I will put a picture of what it looks like in full bloom, but this gets 6 to 8 feet tall. So I'm just fine with it absolutely taking off back here. I wanted it to stay a little more natural on the edges, and yeah, natives are just the way to go. So I can't wait to see that later on in the season or next year. And just behind it, I did plant the rest of the Joe Pye weed here, which goes all the way to that last aspen tree on the back side of this bed. So it's my neighbor's lot on the other side of these Joe Pye weeds. And as you could see, this one's just starting to bud up here. So excited about this. I might mulch around these. We'll see. It just depends on how full they grow in. So yeah, that is my brand new veggie and cut flower bed. Now, while we're over here, I do want to show you a couple of these plants here because this is actually just ended up being my favorite shrub that I've planted. I got this for my birthday last year. It is, and it looks great with the delphinium in back, but in the front there in the center, I'll come closer. This is a Proven Winners double play candy corn spirea, and it is just gorgeous. This changes every few weeks, and look at the blooms. They just stand out, and that gold foliage is great really far back here because you could just see it from afar. And by the way, I'm really sorry, but there is a lot of mosquitoes in my yard right now, so they might fly up in front of the screen here. Okay, so last but not least, I took out a pyracantha here that wasn't doing well, and I decided to put in a firelight hydrangea. Isn't this gorgeous? I mean, I love the colors on this hydrangea, and as you can see, it gets 6 feet tall and wide. So I think it'll love it back here. I think it's a good spot right next to this halcyon hosta. There is a Dancing Queen gold hosta right in front of it, and a Dark Side of the Moon Stilby just next to it. So those are the plants I got. I hope you guys like that. And happy gardening, everyone. I'll see you soon for a garden tour. Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy gardening, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you like videos like this, and give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much.